Welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to newsstreamingnetwork.com, and this show is called Link to Expert Goodreads. We are connecting with the experts. We're connecting with the authors. One of my favorite shows is meeting the authors, and that's what we're going to do here today. I am Cece Shatz. I am one of your hosts. I'm the doyenne of relationship building, and I am the founder of New Streaming Network. I have my good friend here with me, Joanne Weiland. Joanne, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Joanne Weiland, why land when you can fly? As many of you know, I've flown around the country, met so many people, and that's why we love to have them on our shows. And the Goodreads Authors Corner is all designed that we can learn from these different guest experts. We can learn from these authors because most of the time they've spent years, sometimes even a lifetime, learning the things that they learn. And like today is no exception. We have with us Hannah Park Lusterman, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her. This woman is extraordinary. She's going to share with us her three insights that are so profound. So anyway, thank you, Cece.
It is great. All that you do on Link to Expert. Those of you, if you haven't checked out the website, you must do it. It's called Link, Link, to TO Experts, EXPERT.com. So you want to definitely check that out, Link to Experts. So I want to make sure that you all know who our great author is here today. She's a keynote speaker, entertainer, best-selling author, and the creator of this wonderful Facebook group called the From Fear to Confidence. And if you'd like to join it, all you got to do is go to Facebook and join the group, and she'll be there to be able to assist you in your walk through that Facebook group. So we have Hannah Park Lusterman, and let's bring her right up. Hey, Hannah.
Hi guys. It's awesome to be here today. So this is, I am Hannah Park Lusterman. I'm an entertaining speaker and storyteller. And I want to first thank you, Cece. Thank you so much, and Joanne, for having me on this show. I am so excited. I'm thrilled to be here. This is my favorite place to be, to speak with my audience and to share my knowledge, to share my wisdom, and to share me. So that's why I'm here today.
It is great. It's great having you. And I tell you what, you have really had the ability to make very strong cultural connections. And your book is a collaborative book, and it's called The Gifts of Pain, the Daily Stories, Reflections, and Prompts to Find Hope and Healing in Adversity. And I know that you have experienced that yourself. So share with us a bit your walk through life and how it has really shaped you on being the wonderful person that you are today.
Wow. So in order to answer that question, or in order to speak about that, I'd like to share a defining moment which has brought me where I am here today, and that is spreading conscious awareness and motivating millions to align with their higher selves. That is my primary message, that we align ourselves with our higher selves. And let's go back a little let me take you back a bit to the beginning, to where it all started. It all started with my parents when they migrated to Israel in 1958. And together with 10 families, my parents created the first vegetarian village in Israel. It's called a Bet Shav, in a small village called Amirim. And so I was brought up health conscious. I was brought up knowing that my mind and my body was valuable, and to take care of myself. And so health has been one of the most important pillars of my life. Mm-hmm. And so has been wealth. However, I have always been abundant in health because I grew up in health. but not so much in wealth.
Right. Like many of us, right? And I think in the US, we're even lacking the health part of it. We're trying to get on board now in today's world with our health. But yeah, I totally get that. So when you talk about the very first thing you said was like being aligned, right? Did you say how did you word that? You said that you were aligned with yourself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. For me, it's important to be aligned with our higher selves, because I believe that we are two parts. We are our human part, and then we have the divine part. And of course, the human part is the predominant part that we're living in, from birth to where we start getting enlightened towards our divine self, which is our higher self. And so it's a constant journey. It's a constant journey. For me, it's a constant journey. I know it's a constant journey for everyone, because that's where we're all headed towards, not just awareness, but conscious awareness. And once we can align ourselves, once we can align get our human self towards our divine self and be more in the divine, that's when we're in alignment. The more divine that we are, that's where our true, what's the word I'm looking for? That's our true destination. Our true destination is we're all looking to be more divine than human.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do believe that, where we are today is not where we're going to be tomorrow, nor thereafter. And so we are divinely driven, right, into our lives as we step forward. And so often, we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Because, originally, maybe a few months back, I never thought I was going to be doing what I'm doing. That's because we are divinely, we're driven spiritually by what it is that we are supposed to do here on earth. And so, yeah, I fully agree with that completely. Tell us a little bit, and we won't get into a lot of it, but I think it's important that those out there know some of the journey that you've been on, because you've had a true extraordinary life, not one that someone normally just, has a little one and they grow up and, they go to school and they do all these other things and turn out to be this wonderful human being. You had so many situations and bumps in the road to become the extraordinary woman that you are today. So share with those, because I'd like for the audience to really truly connect with you as an individual and what you've had to go through in life, because so often we think what we're going through is just the end all. It's the worst thing on earth. But the reality is there's so many other individuals out there that are struggling equally as much as us, if not more. So share a little bit about those bumps in the road that you've had to overcome to become the great woman that you are today.
So I'll share a compelling story, very short story. I left home equipped with a lot of health knowledge, but as I mentioned before, wealth was not one of I grew up in a home where everything was provided, but there was not ever there was no abundance of wealth in the home that I grew up. And so I left home and I was always searching for more, I knew that there was more. I looked around me, there was wealth everywhere. And so I wanted some of that wealth. And so I left home. I actually left home in a contraband boat, crossed the Atlantic Ocean. And I went from one country to another, which was British Guyana. And I went to Venezuela. That was the first country I lived in. And I had been seeking to find wealth my entire life. When I came to the United States, I don't want to go into my whole story right now, but I'll just say that I worked as a caregiver, and one day, and I'm getting into this because I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to find out why is it that I took my clothes off on Facebook Live, and I'm giving you the short version of it. Mm-hmm. So one day I decided I was sick and tired of being a caregiver. I'd been a caregiver for 20 years, and I wanted to be rich. And I was reading the book called The Science of Getting Rich. And I decided to go on Facebook and start a series. I made a commitment that I was going to be rich. And I gave my very first talk. And in the middle of my talk, I took my caregiver's uniform off. And underneath, I had a beautiful sari, Indian colorful sari underneath, and I said, this is my rich clothing. I am not going to be a caregiver anymore. Watch me. And that was the beginning of an amazing journey for me. That's where I started to really pursue a better life financially. I wanted to, it didn't end there. That was the beginning. Right. And of course, there was a lot of winding ups and downs, but that's when I took my clothes off. I made a commitment that I was going to be rich.
Right. So you created that shift, right? So often, if we want to move forward in life, if we want to obtain what it is we truly want, we have to make that mental shift, right? And for you to, disrobe, you've dismantled, your life as you see it there at that moment, and you're stepping into a new one, which is really awesome. Totally awesome. Joanne, I want to give you an opportunity to comment because I know you know Hannah very closely. And so, so you want to go ahead and share a little bit?
Well, when I saw that on YouTube, the way she did take her caregiver top off, I felt like that was a very visual way of transformation, because we really have to transform from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And often we have to do something physical as well as mental and as well as spiritual. And especially what she did was important because of the fact that she did it to the world. It wasn't like she was just keeping a secret and then she could slide back anytime because nobody even knew about her goal to transform. So that's why I was so impressed with what she did. And on Facebook, and I know we've been getting so many comments already just from inviting people to the show. They were curious, like, what do you mean you took your clothes off? But she still had her beautiful rich top on. But it was really, I felt like really, really a strong message for all of us to realize we can't just think about it. We have to take the action. And by even taking the action in front of other people, it gives us much more accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. That was wonderful. So anything else, Hannah, that you'd like to share as, because I really do feel that these are lessons that our audience can take with them themselves to be able to do and move forward in their lives. So anything else that you might want to suggest?
Just one comment that was a defining moment in my life, and it was just not for me. I was doing it for all those out there who wanted to be rich, who wanted to have a better life, who was working as a caregiver, as a worker, as a cleaner, and I wanted them to know that they too could have this. And I wish in the moment I could have taken off my uniform and be rich in the moment. But like I said, it was the beginning of a journey, and I'm still on that journey.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I always say it's one step at a time, right? One baby step at a time, and sometimes we take two steps back and one step forward, but that's life. And we just have to kind of go with that. Absolutely. So let me ask you a question, because I know that you have had several other challenges in your life as you move forward. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us that could be an inspiration to those out there listening?
Well, maybe I can get into the second
insight.
yes, the second experiential moment, that another defining moment in my life that would be very helpful to others who, like me, think that they are flawed and think that there's something wrong with them. People tend to think that, and it's all in your imagination. And what happens, it keeps us prisoner. It makes us a prisoner when we think that we're not enough and we're not good enough. In my case, I felt that I was ugly. I felt that I was multicultural. I didn't know the value of it. But most importantly, I believed that I looked in the mirror, and what I saw in the mirror was not pleasing to me. And I felt that that's the way everyone was seeing me. And that led to me doing something unspeakable. In my teenage years, I was very unhappy and thinking that I was ugly, and I wanted to be pretty. This is what I felt. I felt that if I wasn't white and pretty, I would never succeed in life, that I had to be white and pretty. And so I had to do something about it. And what happened, I moved to Canada and found out that the Asian women in Canada were going to Montreal to have a bridge in their nose. And one of the things I hated was the fact that my nose looked like a train ran over it. I didn't have a bridge in my nose. And so I decided to follow suit. One night I took the bus and I went to Montreal. And instead of just putting a bridge in my nose, I end up, erasing all the ethnic features from my face and getting a brand new face. And what I can say to everybody who's watching here is that it was all in my mind. It was all in my mind. When the pain of the surgery that I had was nothing compared to the pain that I felt when I realized that I was still the same little girl that looked in the mirror and saw ugliness. Nothing had changed. Even though I now looked white and pretty, which is what I wanted, inside nothing had changed. And so I had to start the journey all over again to get to the place where I am today. So if you think that you're not enough, then it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion, and it's keeping you prison from where you can be.
Oh, yeah, that's so well said. And I'm sure, I'm just so terribly sorry that you had to experience that, because it is truly a shame, because the essence of who we are is not about what we look like on the outside. You know what I mean? And that's what truly people are attracted to. It's your essence and what you bring. And so, you have so much to offer. And I know your Facebook, page, your group, From Fear to Confidence, really instills that. It really connects those so that they can have the confidence to move forward in a positive direction in their life and not let what we think, internally get in the way. So, Joanne, do you have any comments on that?
Well, I think a lot of times who we think we are is not who we really think we are, and it's not even who others think we are. It's actually who we think others think we are. So when we're trying to live up to what we think others are thinking of us is when we get totally out of alignment, instead of going, like you guys were talking about earlier, down deep and living from inside out is what I call it, but being authentic instead of thinking what other people think we are. Because of course, even every person, most of the time I find they're not even thinking about me. I just think they are, if that makes any sense. I mean, they're not like, oh my goodness, she's acting so silly right now or whatever. So I feel like, just again, be you, be authentic, love yourself, and it'll shine through. I love that one thing you say too, Hannah, when you watched The Color Purple, was it? And you saw Oprah and will be just shining through because they were their authentic selves.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I know as a young girl, I didn't think I was very attractive. You know, I was, I'll have to say this, but I was, when I was little, I was cross-eyed. I'd work with my glasses. I've worn glasses since birth, and I was pigeon-toed, and I was all of these things. And so when I grew up, right, I went in high school, and my mother said, I want you to enter a beauty contest. I'm thinking she's got to be absolutely insane, you know? And she goes, I want you to enter. There she came up with this little fireman's beauty contest somewhere in Tampa, some little fireman's place and whatever. So did it. I did it because my mom wanted me to do it. I listened to my mother. And so anyhow, I did it and I won. And that was kind of a turning point for me, because then I thought, well, maybe I'm not, as ugly as I really thought I was, so it did start building my confidence. So I think our confidence that we have for ourselves internally is so valuable, and we beat ourselves up far too much, because you are so right. What people see outside and looking at us is totally different than what we think about ourselves. And it's just, it's a shame that we can't kind of, get more, more confidence and be able to walk that walk a little bit clearer and without worry and about what other people think about us. So you've come a long ways, Hannah, and you really have shaping individuals that you touch, all the lives that you touch. And so it's amazing. So we're going to have to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the third extraordinary moment that was a changing, a defining moment for you. And I believe that these defining moments, although they're yours and they're your story and it's your walk that you've done in life, has definitely and can change and shape those that are listening to the story. So I appreciate you sharing those. So again, I want to make sure that everyone knows that Hannah Park Lusterman, she is a keynote speaker. She'll speak for you anywhere you'd like. So just contact her and talk to her about a speaking engagement. She's an entertainer, a best-selling author, and the creator of a wonderful Facebook group. So go out and join it. It's From Fear to Confidence. And maybe the last part of the show, we can talk a little bit about that. And so those of you that want to join that, that you can do that. She has a rare ability to really make strong cultural connections. And so again, her book, which is a collaborative book, it's The Gifts of Pain, Daily Stories, Reflections, and Prompts to Find Hope and Healing in Adversity. So we want to make sure it's right there what it looks like. So make sure that you buy that book, read it, because I think it will definitely inspire you to step forward into the life that you truly want to live. And if you have any questions, you want to connect with Hannah, just go to Hannah, and that's Hannah, Hannah, Park, P-A-R-K, Lusterman, Lusterman @gmail.com. Connect with her on LinkedIn under Hannah Lusterman. Make sure that you do that. And she's offering us a free gift here today. So all you have to do is email her again at hannahparklusterman @gmail.com. If you email her, she'll send you the link to the YouTube video that she has made specially to be able to inspire you to move forward in your life. So we're going to take a quick break. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. That's our radio station. You're listening to newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Bold and Going Solo. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the new streaming network.com, home of Going Bold and Going Solo. We are on the Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am one of your hosts here today. I'm Cece Shatz, and I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland. Hey, Joanne. It is so great having everyone here today. We're just excited because we are doing an extraordinary life with our wonderful guest, Hannah Park Lusterman, who is a keynote speaker. She's an entertainer, best-selling author, and creator of a Facebook group called From Fear to Confidence. She's been sharing with us in the first part of the show really some moments that were defining in her life that really truly changed her life, moved her forward, actually propelled her into living the life that she lives today. And if you missed it, you got to go back and listen to it because it is definitely worth listening to. You know, why she unrobed, right, so to speak, undressed on Facebook, and why it was a defining moment for her, and what it changed, not only I think for herself and for all of those who were watching and participating in that particular moment, but moments to come. So we're going to talk, Hannah, a little bit about the next the next defining moment in your life. So share with us what that is.
Well, if you don't mind, I would just like to go back to my last defining moment because there was a very important lesson that I learned, and I would be remiss if I didn't share this lesson with the audience because this has been made a tremendous impact in my life, and that is without self-acceptance and self-love. There's basically, we need to have self-love and self-acceptance, not just the regular kind of love that people throw around here or there, but unconditional love for ourselves. And once we can love ourselves unconditionally, then and only then we can love other people unconditionally. So it starts with us, and I learned that lesson from my experience of thinking that I wasn't enough and mutilating myself. So I'd like to share that unconditional love. That's the message. If you have it for yourself, then you can share it with others freely. You can't help but sharing it with others, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right. And it is true because it's hard to walk the walk of life if you don't have that feeling about yourself. If you're not able to, you're always looking over, right? You're always looking over your shoulder or you're worried about what other people think if you don't have that self-confidence, if you're not being authentic. And I'm not saying every day is an easy day, but you do have to start instilling that in your life and accepting who you are, so you can create the path that you want. Right. So Joanne, do you have any comments or?
No, I'm anxious to hear the third.
Mm-hmm. So this is a continuation. This defining moment happened recently, and it was a continuation of my wanting to get rich. When I started out with that first video I made, and I took my caregiver uniform off, I wanted to make a statement, but apparently I wasn't ready. I wasn't quite ready to journey. It was just the beginning of the journey, and so I needed to go back and work as a caregiver. I need to have one more job as a caregiver because that was part of my journey. I was in a place where I didn't have work, and I found a job with someone who was wealthy, and it was an amazing job. And I wanted to get rich, and then something miraculous happened, and I felt that God was answering my prayers because I know that I'm an amazing caregiver. I've been a caregiver for many, many years, and people have told me so. So when my patient said to me, you are such a wonderful caregiver, and I am going to leave because I have no one else to leave my inheritance to. I am going to leave my inheritance to you. Something had happened. My patient was in the hospital, and he realized that there were much things wrong that he had not known about. So when we're close to the end of life, that fear stepped in here, and he thought that he was not going to make it. And so he was getting ready for the end, and he was preparing his will. And he said to me, I don't have anyone to leave my wealth with, my estate with, and so I'm going to be leaving that with you. And went ahead and made legally provisions for me to be the benefactor of the estate. And because I was asking for riches, and because this was the goal and the intention of my life, I was going on Facebook Live every week before that and reading the book and saying, this is what I'm doing to get rich. This is what I'm doing to get rich. And then all of a sudden, when this happened, it was a miracle for me. I felt, wow, God is listening to me. Look what's happening. I'm getting rich. The lesson here is that financial riches is not everything. When we ask for abundance, we should ask for abundance in all areas of our lives, and not just for financial abundance. I was too focused on financial abundance, to the exclusion of I wasn't thinking of anything else. And so the financial abundance came to me, and it was taken away from me just as it came to me. It was taken away from me because it came with conditions. It came with a lot of conditions, and I wanted to be rich, but I wanted to be rich on my own terms for my own efforts. And that was not the case. So that's what happened. When you're too focused on one thing, you really have to look at the whole picture. So it wasn't worth it for me to have $1 million if there were strings attached to it. And so I gave it up. And I gave up all of that and I feel free, and I feel so much better. And even though I'm struggling again and I'm still on that road to get rich, I am rich in other areas of my life. I am abundantly rich in the other areas of my life that's important: health and gratitude and friends and family. And I am rich, and I will be financially rich too.
Yes, I agree with that. I believe that, money comes and goes, right? So it's like an ebb, it flows. And it's there's so much more things that are important: your health and, your sanity and, your family and your friends. And there's just so many other things that are more important than the dollar bill. And but I know that we do need it. I know that we do need money to function in today's world. But you're right. I think the abundance that we have around us can come in a lot of different forms, in a lot of different ways, and we can live a very full and rich life. For sure. I agree with that. So what an inspiration you are. My gosh, what a show. Don't you agree, Joanne?
Yes, go ahead, Hannah. Sorry.
I was about to say that it felt incredibly amazing to have a rich life just for a moment, to have a boat and to have a Tesla and to have all the things that I was wanting, but not the way it came to be, not in the way that I wanted it. So sometimes you ask God for things, and sometimes you ask, but be careful what you ask for, because you might just get something that you're not ready for. And I wasn't ready to, receive it in that way, but it was incredibly enticing. I can truly say that.
Right. And I bet you were tremendously touched that
Yes.
he felt, he felt that strongly for you and all that you've done in his life to leave that too. So yeah. So to me, I would be extremely touched that someone thought about me like that they wanted me to be secure in life. So yeah, so that was a wonderful thing for him to do. But you're right, and, we want to live life on our terms, right? So yeah, I can totally understand that. Totally.
One of the things I try to say when I'm praying, whatever you guys call it, everybody says it's something different, but I always say this or something better.
Mm.
Because Spirit, God, whatever you call your higher being, just ask for what you think, because that's what we know at the time, or say, or something better, because a lot of times I find it is something better, but I hadn't thought of that. And a lot of times we do have to go through. I heard just the other day that we are the roller coaster and God is the track. So even though we're zooming along, but a lot of times the track takes us places that we didn't really think we were going to go to, sometimes even upside down. Look at some of those roller coasters. You go upside down. So Reverend Kimberly, thanks for sharing that on Sunday. That I found that very beneficial. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I often say, and I know you've heard it on the show many times, I often say God will open the door for me, but I have to climb through the window instead. So I have to make it harder on myself. So yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to have to close out the show. It's gone by very quickly, and I want to thank you so much, Hannah. Are there any last words you'd like to share with us?
Last words would be, just live your life. To We're all struggling to be enlightened. And how does enlightenment come? Enlightenment comes from conscious awareness of things. If we empty our minds completely of everything, we'll have it will be filled with the things that we need. But if we keep our minds closed, then we can't learn anything new. So keep our minds open, keep your minds open, and strive for enlightenment.
Oh, great advice. Absolutely wonderful advice. Well, you're listening to Hannah Park Lusterman. And of course, she is a keynote speaker. She's be more than happy to speak at any engagement that you might have that you feel like you'd like to reach out to her. She's an entertainer, a best-selling author, and the creator of a Facebook group called From Fear to Confidence. Her book is The Gifts of Pain, Daily Stories, Reflections, Prompts, and to find hope and healing in adversity. And that's what it looks like right there on the screen. Gifts of Pain, right? And then also reach out to her, and you can send her an email at Hannah, Hannah, Park, Park, Lusterman, Lusterman at gmail.com. And if you just email her, she'll give you the free gift. It's a video, which it's really worth watching. So just email her, tell her that you saw her on the show and that you'd love to be able to have that free gift, and she'll send that to you. Also, connect with her on LinkedIn. Those of you that are on LinkedIn that are professionals, reach out to her on LinkedIn at Hannah Lusterman, and she would definitely love to be connected with you. So you guys, you're listening to Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner. I am one of your hosts, Cece Shatz. I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland, with me. She is the owner of LinktoEXPERT.com. If you haven't checked out that website, you must do it. It's LinktoEXPERT.com. And then, of course, you're listening on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the home of NewsStreamingNetwork.com, home of Going Bold and Going Solo. So we hope that you'll join us each and every week or every other week here on Link to Expert, where we talk about the Goodreads Authors Corner. And we also have a business showcase that you don't want to miss at all. So just check back with us a week from now. So it's like every other week. And we would love to be able to connect with you. So I am Cece Shatz. I'm signing off. And thank you so much for watching us here today. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.